Students, today we will learn about the different stages of European history and how traditions were changing in Europe in lesson number 12, Changing Cultural Traditions in Europe 1300 to 1800 AD. Let us first identify the continent of Europe in the world map. This is the continent of Europe. Then we can look at the continent of Asia, the continent of Africa, Australia, North America, South America and Antarctica. Now take a closer look at the continent of Europe on the world map. The lesson I am going to tell you today is the changing cultural traditions and periods of European history. Europe is the smallest continent in the world and we can say that this is a pre-developed continent in the world. The continent of Europe can be divided into two parts. The first one is Eastern Europe on the east and the second is Western Europe on the west. And the most developed countries are in Western Europe. And in the political map of Europe, you can see countries like Spain, France, Britain, Germany, Italy, Greece and many important countries we can see in this map. Observe carefully. Now look at the continent of Europe on the world map. You are looking and try to identify other continents as well in this map. And this is the map of Europe. This map is an outline map of continent of Europe. Identify Spain, France, Britain, Italy, Greece, Germany. You can pause the video and identify these continents. The ancient medieval world in Europe. During the ancient period, Europe was dominated by the Roman Empire, which controlled much of Europe, Turkey and Egypt for a long time. Great cities like Rome and Alexandria flourished. When the Roman Empire declined after 400 AD, there were no large empires in Western Europe. The cities too had declined and most people lived in villages. These are the stages in the history of Europe. The first being ancient period up to 400 AD. Then we can say that the medieval period is from 400 to 1300 AD to the Middle Ages. Then the early modern period from 1300 to 1800 AD and finally the modern period, that is the period from 1800 to present. Europe came to be dominated by a social system called feudalism. Under feudalism, political powers was with large warrior landlords who controlled the villages and peasants. The peasants were mostly serfs. They were bound to their lords and had to till the lands of lords, work in their workshop and also fight for them in wars. They had their own lands and sustained their families by working on them too. The lords were constantly at war with each other and this created a lot of insecurity for the peasants. Apart from that, there was a Roman Catholic Church in Europe. Culture of people came to be dominated by the Roman Catholic Church. It discouraged people from thinking for themselves and asked them to believe what the priests told them. This situation began to change after 1300 AD. The peasants had begun to resist and fight against serfdom and control of the lords and the church. For example, there was a great revolt of the peasants in England in 1381 which ended serfdom in England. Students, can you answer the following questions below? First one, when the Roman Empire collapsed? Next one, what is the prevailing social system in Europe? When did the serfdom end in England? After that, a new cultural movement began to develop in Europe, which is called Renaissance or Rebirth. People began to beyond the limits set by religious priests and raised new questions and found new ways of answering those questions. Traders and adventurers set out on long voyages to find out new routes and lands. New trends in art, painting, sculpture, and literature developed. Science too developed rapidly. People also started questioning religious authorities and wanted to find simple and direct ways of reaching God. Now, let us look at the concept of Renaissance in mind mapping. New questions are raised during the Renaissance. New areas were discovered. The people of Europe made progress in fields such as literature, arts, sculpture, and painting. And the printing press was also invented during this period, and it was during this period that science also developed well. This is what we call the Renaissance because all of these things also happened during this period. Now we are looking at the historian and a Swiss scholar Jacob Burckhardt of Switzerland. In 1860, he wrote a book called The Civilization of the Renaissance in Italy, in which he called his readers' attention to literature, architecture, and painting to tell the story of how a new humanist culture had flowered in Italian towns from the 14th to the 17th century. Now, the revival of Italian cities. With the expansion of trade between the Byzantine Empire and the Islamic countries, the ports on the Italian coasts revived. As trade with Western European countries also increased, Italian towns played a central role. Two of these, Florence and Venice, were republics. One of the most vibrant cities was Venice, another was Genoa. The clergy were not politically dominant here, nor were there powerful feudal lords. Rich merchants and bankers actively participated in governing the city, and this helped the idea of citizenship to strike root. Students, this map is given in page number 146 in our textbook. This map is Italy in Europe continent. This map is showing important places in Italy. We can see a city called Florence in this map. Similarly, we can see a city called Venice. These two cities are republican cities, and we can see another important city like Genoa. Humanism and universities. The literature of the ancient Greeks had reflected an interest in life. They had been vitally interested in the world in which they lived. Later, students of the ancient Greek literature, which dealt with the nature and interests of man, studying it is called humanism. Everything in nature, science, and the arts that affected man now was important to humanists. Now, a question for you. Who were the humanists and what they teach? In 1453, Constantinople was overthrown and the Turkish or Ottoman Empire took the place of the Eastern Roman Empire. See, it is Turkey or Ottoman Empire. Before that, there was the Byzantine Empire, which was overthrown, and Ottoman Empire was formed here. In this Europe map, we can see Constantinople, which was overthrown in 1453 AD, and we can see the city of Rome also. Now, coming to the next topic, realism. The humanist ideas extended to art and architecture too. In the sphere of visual art like painting and sculpture, this took the form of realism. Artists observed nature, the people and places around them and sought to represent them as they were. Renaissance began to portray themes from around them, from Greek and Roman literature, which showed the feelings, power and strength of human beings. Artists also began to study remains of Roman culture, their buildings, sculpture also. At first, in 1416, Donatello broke new ground with his lifelike statues. Now, we are looking at this picture is Andreas Vesalius. A Belgian and a professor of medicine at the University of Padua was the first to dissect the human body. This was the beginning of modern physiology. Many artists like Leonardo da Vinci studied human anatomy so as to make their paintings and sculptures realistic. Painters found that knowledge of geometry helped them to understand perspective, and that by noting the changing quality of light, their pictures acquired a three-dimensional quality. Note well what we can see in this sculpture here. Perspective, a way of depicting different things on painting so that we can feel the depth in the painting. This is done by showing objects in front as larger and object behind as smaller. Now we see in this picture Leonardo da Vinci, a world famous painter. He had an amazing range of interest from botany and anatomy to mathematics and arts. He painted the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. Da Vinci brought a good look to the pictures by using bright colors to paint the pictures. The use of oil paints as the medium for painting also gave greater richness of color to the paintings than before. One of his dreams was to be able to fly. He spent years observing birds in flight and designed a flying machine. He signed his name Leonardo da Vinci, disciple of experiment. Architecture. The city of Rome revived in a spectacular way in the 15th century. The popes actively encouraged the study of Rome's history. They studied the ruins of old Roman buildings to revive the old Roman style, which used tall pillars, arches, and domes in buildings. This inspired a new style in architecture, which was actually a revival of the imperial Roman style. Now we call it classical. Popes, wealthy merchants, and aristocrats employed architects who were familiar with classical architecture. Artists and sculptors were also to decorate buildings with paintings, sculptures, and reliefs. Artists were known individually by name. Now we are looking at Albrecht Dürer. A picture called The Praying Hands was painted by Albrecht Dürer. It gives us a sense of Italian culture in the 16th century, when people were deeply religious but also had a sense of confidence in man's ability to achieve near perfection and to unreveal the mysteries of the world and the universe. He told that art is embedded in nature. He who can extract it has it. The more closely your work abides by life in its form. No man shall ever be able to make a beautiful figure out of his own imagination unless he has well stored his mind by much copying from life. Dürer said these words. Some individuals were skilled equally as painters, sculptors, and architects. The most impressive example is Michelangelo. He is a painter, sculptor, and architect. Now we see his design of the St. Peter's Church at Rome. It is the dome designed by Michelangelo. Michelangelo painted a variety of beautiful figures on the ceiling of Sistine Chapel for the Pope in Rome. We are looking at these pictures. Michelangelo carved a very beautiful David sculpture. We are looking at that sculpture. We are looking at the sculpture. The Pieta means pity. The statue, the Pieta carved by Michelangelo, depicts Mary holding the body of Jesus. The sculptures we see and the wide variety of sculptures were carved by Michelangelo. Now let us learn about architecture. The city of Rome revived in a spectacular way in the 15th century. The popes actively encouraged the study of Rome's history. They studied the ruins of Roman buildings to revive the old Roman style, which used tall pillars, arches, and domes in buildings. This inspired a new style in architecture, which was actually a revival of the Imperial Roman style, now called Classical. This is St. Peter's Square at Rome and the Basilica. This church and the court in front of it was designed by several artists including Michelangelo and Bernini. This uses many architectural ideas from ancient Rome. And Filippo Brunelleschi, the architect who designed the sculptural Duomo of Florence, had started his career as a sculptor. The printing press. If people in other countries wanted to see paintings, sculptures, all buildings of great artists, they had to travel to Italy. But in the case of the written word, what was written in Italy traveled to other countries. This was because of the greatest revolution of the 16th century, the mastery of the technology of printing. For this, Europeans were indebted to the other people, the Chinese. They were first developed paper and printing with blocks. In 1455, 150 copies of the Bible were printed in the workshop of Johannes Gutenberg, the German who made the first printing press. Earlier, a monk would have taken the same amount of time to write out one copy of the Bible. By 1500, many classical texts, nearly all in Latin, had been printed in Italy. As printed books became available, it was possible to buy them, and students did not have to depend solely on lectures, notes. Ideas, opinions, and information moved more widely and more rapidly than ever before. A printed book promoting a new ideas could quickly reach hundreds of readers. This also made it possible for individuals to read books, since it was possible to buy copies for oneself. This developed the reading habit among people. The chief reason that the humanist culture of Italy spread more rapidly in northern and western Europe from the end of the 15th century is that printing books were circulating. Students, try to answer the questions given below in your notes. Evaluation. First question. Write about humanism. Next one. What did you know about realism? Third question. Write about feudalism in Italy. Next question. What changes did printed books bring to human life? What do you know about the artists mentioned in this chapter? Students, I think this lesson will helpful to you. Watch this channel for more lessons. Let's meet again with another lesson. Until then, leave.